Who will you get one?
Oh, damn. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So I guess just to
Oh shit.
sum it up, I mean, how crazy has this season been for you with all the stuff going on around, your future?
Um, it's like crazy, but it got pretty wild. It's over with now, and just see what the future holds.
I guess now that it's over, is the feeling kind of, I don't know, are you reflective about your time here? Are you looking forward to the future? I guess what's your feeling going into the off season?
Um, seeing what happens, you know, seeing who the Pelicans make the GM and having a conversation with that person and about the future. Um, my time here has always been great. Love playing here. Um, it's something that I would definitely hold in my heart forever. Um, but the next step is, definitely waiting on the Pelicans for that GM job.
Do you, do you, maybe not regretting the decisions you made, but do you think that maybe some of the business side of this could have been handled differently for all sides?
Um, I think in everything you do is always something to learn. Um, I haven't really sat back and thought about any of that yet. The season just ended, but um, it's something that I'll go back and look at it and reflect on, and if it has, then I'll say to myself and the people around me and see if something happens again, what we could do better, and go from there.
Do you feel like it's a virtual certainty that an off-season trade would take place, or have you entertained the thought that if they don't get the deal they want, it could go into the deadline in February? Or?
It's hard to say that when they're looking for a GM. Not sure what the new GM will is thinking or what they plan to do. But as soon as when I say the Pelicans appoint a GM, then those questions will definitely be asked.
Anthony, would you be okay if you started the year here next year?
So I'm under contract still. I have a year left. Obviously, it's a possibility that it could happen. Like I say, I don't have no ill will towards anybody. I know that it's still a possibility that next year I could be here as well. So, I mean, can't be mad if I'm here next year.
Does it matter who the general manager is? Could that potentially convince you to change your mind, or are you pretty firm on the trade?
No, it really doesn't matter. When that time comes, wherever it is, have a conversation with them and see what the future holds.
Anthony, you've said before that it's your time. Can you just explain to Pelicans fans why it's time
I
for you
talked
to go
about that
elsewhere?
already, man. I explained that already.
Anthony, do you have any additional message to the fans or to New Orleans or anything you'd like to maybe say?
It's a lot, Obviously, my time here was amazing. Love the fans, the city. The fans always supported me. Never had no problem with the fans, except a couple days ago. But other than that, man, it's an amazing time here. Love playing here. Always have a special place in my heart. You never know what might happen, later in your career. So, like I said, it's definitely for 7 years been a place where I love to play.
How were the conversations with your teammates, knowing that this could have been the last time you're share the locker room with them last night? Were there individual conversations? You don't have to go into content, obviously, but did you have some one-on-ones with guys, and have y'all talked about?
No, I never had any one-on-ones. Obviously, everybody on our team likes to joke. So, I mean, everybody see each other in the summertime anyway, but like that heart-warming message, I haven't had any of those individually with any other my teammates.
And I guess you joked about the thing the other night, but I guess has this whole experience kind of changed your perspective as far as players' relationships with fans, players' relationship with the city?
What thing?
I don't say, but when you got to find out
the finger. Nah, like I said, I never had a problem with any of the fans. anywhere, to be honest. And you know, that particular time, something just happened. But you know, for me, my relationship with the fans has always been, you know, good. Inside the arena and outside the arena.
Last night, I know you said you'll reflect on all the decisions. I know Alvin said, great guy who he thinks got bad advice. How hard has this process been, just not being able to play in the minutes restrictions and sitting out games while you're in your prime and healthy?
Yeah, you know, that was definitely the toughest part. You know, obviously, you know, I want to play the game of basketball, and have to adjust to playing 20, 21 minutes. Was something, you know, new for me. But I understood where the organization was coming from. Obviously, it's a business, but you know, anytime you take something away from a player, you know, it's always tough to kind of handle. You know, I've never been a guy to sit the fourth quarter, you know, play 20 minutes, and so that was different for me. So I had to just adjust to it and make the most out of it.
Any more
regrets about anything, the way it was handled? Or?
No.
Are you more of a Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck guy?
All of them. I love them all. I'm a big cartoon guy. Looney Tunes is actually my favorite. So.
We gotta ask, well, why did you choose that T-shirt?
I didn't choose it. I actually didn't choose it. It was hanging for me already when I put my clothes on. So.
Do you know who hung it?
No. Not sure.
Did you notice the reaction to it, I guess, or the perception of?
I saw some stuff. Well, I heard some stuff actually. You know, heard some stuff about Space Jam. I heard some stuff about. Shout out to Pelicans. Oh, this is his last game. Heard it all, but it doesn't matter to me. You know.
I guess, what's it like going into the summer, not really knowing what's about to happen, where you're going to go, what team you're going to play for next year? I guess, what's that like?
I said it's all different. I never had to go through this, but I said I think a lot of stuff would be more clear when you know we figure out who. Well, not I figure out, but the organization figures out who's the general manager and able to sit down and have a conversation with that guy and like I said, talk about the future.
Were you surprised that Magic made the decision that he made last night?
I have no idea what's going on over there, what's going on with the Lakers. I got a lot of other stuff to worry about.
Does him quitting change how you feel about that organization at all?
No. Great organization. Just like 29 other organizations. I have nothing to do with that.
Will there be potentially a list or teams that you work out with them that could be preferred destinations for you again?
Haven't thought about any of that. Like I said, the season just ended 12 hours ago. So I haven't had the time to really reflect and sit down and see what the next move is yet.
Did you get any sense of how this ordeal affected perceptions of you, whether it's from fans or advertisers or even other GMs and teams or anything like that? Do you think it made any difference?
I can't speak for anybody else, but or any other team, organization, fan. I know when I walk around the arena, actually the first game, it's different. But after that, a lot of fans have told me they love me here, and thank you, and all that stuff. So the love I get, or the way fans, talk to me, just of that one incident, has been, always, supportive. But anytime you do anything, you're gonna have love and hate. So it kind of just comes with the territory.
So AD, just to make sure, so you don't choose what you wear every night. Somebody lays out your clothes and you just
Somebody
wear
lay-
whatever
every
they lay down, you wear
Every
it.
night, every night, Big Shot lays out what I'm gonna wear in the game. So I have no control in that. I just put it on.
So that picture was not of you entering the arena?
What?
There was a picture that looked like you entered the arena wearing that That's All Folks shirt.
It looks like I was. Is that it?
Any more guys? Thanks, AD.
Thank you.
For you. So I guess, you know, what's the plans for you going into the off season? Obviously, a lot's going to change around this organization, but I guess how does that kind of change what you're doing going into the summer?
It doesn't. Just go home, get to work, take some time off with my family, and just get back to it. However the chips lay, they lay. There's nothing I can control. My position here is to show up and work. Everything else is out of my hand.
Obviously, you signed here a couple years ago. Could you ever imagine it ended up like this a few years later once you signed that deal? What was it, like 16, I want to say?
I mean, for sure. You look at the years prior to me being here. I brought up something kind of crazy just thinking about the number of guys that Drew and AD have played with in their time here. And they got to be, a couple guys that's played with the most teammates, and any span, an AD span of being here, he's probably played with the most amount of teammates, different teammates. And so it wasn't far-fetched. I think we made some moves before to, try to compete, and then things resolved and we couldn't kind of continue that same pattern. So for sure, I mean, it wasn't something I thought was going to happen, but I definitely thought in the back of my head that it was a possibility, and here we are today.
You mentioned going back to work this summer, when you go back to California. What are some of the things that you work on? You've been in the league 6 years.
I think it's hard to pinpoint a specific thing to work on, especially, when you can't control, you can sit here and write papers all day, but if you never really get the chance to turn one in, what's the point? And so I kind of was in a situation where, I didn't think I got a fair chance of playing the full extent of the season. I've had talk with the coaches, and the last bunch of games was something that they thought highly of, especially in my position. But not being able to go out there and really and give it a chance to compete through the year, especially with a season like this, is something that you kind of you have to look at from afar, and really don't doubt yourself. I think mentally is the key for me next year, is just to go out there and try to do something early on in the season, or try it out. Go out there and go for it if the situation is going to be like it was this year.
What has this been like, being up, down, on the bench, coming in, having to play spot minutes?
I mean, I'm professional, so it doesn't really. I can't control that stuff. Sorry, but I can't control the five or who goes out there. All I can do is try to control my effort and practice, and then I think that kind of played a role in me. When I did get minutes, I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to do the wrong thing, and that has a way of actually playing against you, because you go out there and you start thinking, and you can shoot yourself in the foot. But it's a learning experience, and I mean, it's like I told some of the guys in the locker room, my opportunity not playing was an opportunity for them. And so I'm happy for them to go out there and hoop. I'm happy to see guys like Carriage, Darius get extended minutes and go out there and be able to make mistakes and learn from it.
So since you've been here, defense has been the one thing that you've been consistent in talking about with this franchise. Last season, the key to success in that second half was the defense.
Sure.
But it seemed like from the beginning of the season, there was a lack of commitment on that end. Was that on-court chemistry, or did the drama surrounding the franchise start to permeate the on-court effort?
It's always tough. I think we was put in a position where you didn't come back with the same kind of core, really. I mean, you got two all-team defensive guys for sure. You would think that the defense is better, but I think we put an emphasis on trying to score the ball as best that we could, especially with the situation we were in. I think that was the one consistent thing that we tried to put together this year, and we did. I think we were like a top 10 offense for the majority of the year, but that defense is another monster in itself. Our best year last year, we actually were a better defensive team than we were than offense. And that's tough, in a situation where you have a lot of guys and about to enter free agency. Nobody, I'm not saying nobody, but it's hard to kind of just get guys to buy in the philosophy of just playing straight defense for 1 year. I think if we brought the guys back and had the same situation next year, I think for sure we'd be a better defensive team. But that's kind of just hard, trying to go year to year and trying to just put pieces in to kind of create a defensive stability, especially when that's not something that we've been huge on here.
Through this
So
whole
Last
process,
question, guys.
There's been a lot of talk about the way AD is perceived and how much that has changed, and you guys actually know him. So I guess, what's it been like seeing the way people have changed the way they talk about him, the way they see him after this entire process?
I think it just comes with it, for a guy to be here and try to do as much as he possibly could. And I think he loves the city. I think it's just a tough situation that he's in where, one of his last games, he comes in, boos from the jump, and then he scored like some crazy amount of numbers in 20 minutes, and, by the end, they're cheering for him. I think they both have a difficult situation where, the city is going to miss him and he's going to miss the city, but it's never easy in this business when it's a business, because when an organization makes a move, that's on the organization and they do what's best for the team. But when a player, does what's best for his family, it's kind of looked at as a bad thing. And I hate that he gets that perception. I saw the same thing with PG, but they're both doing something huge. I think, PG saying that he wanted to relocate, and AD saying that they want to relocate gives the team a chance to get assets for him. He could easily just been quiet and just walked in free agency, but he actually wants to work with the team to find a location and also help them as well.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
So I guess, what's it like for you going into the summer? Obviously, another situation where you're going back into free agency. So I guess, what are you doing to kind of prepare for that?
Well, right now, nothing. It's been this kind of summer is something I'm familiar with. Obviously, it's been almost every other year where I'm kind of going into free agency in the summertime, and I kind of approach it the same way. I let my agency, kind of do their jobs. And for me, it's just, whatever part of this off season I'm in right now is get some rest, kind of find out where I'm gonna be for the summer, and get ready for my off season plans, where I'm gonna train and when I'm gonna get back on the court.
How important have this last 3 weeks been for you to get the amount of playing time you have to kind of?
You just want the opportunity, and that's what I got. Being able to, obviously, everybody wanted the season go a little differently than it did, but you try to find bright spots, here and there. And personally, for me, it was these last 3 weeks being able to get some opportunity out there on the floor and just play. Just play. You want to compete, and I have fun doing that.
How hard is it for the players on the team, with the roster shuffling, with the injuries that happened this year, to really develop any chemistry and consistency this season?
It's definitely tough. You want to, especially, at the beginning of the season when we could see the kind of season that we could have had, with everything kind of changing and shifting. It's tough for guys to kind of grab a rhythm, especially, when you want to be, competing, playing in the playoffs. So it was tough, but, everybody has a job to do. You come out here, be a professional, and, do your job when your number's called.
Was there a point when you thought, where you could feel that the season kind of took a left turn?
To be honest, I don't think so. We had a lot of up and downs when the injuries hit. That's probably the most obvious. But I always felt like, especially because of what we did last year, we had a chance to kind of get a few rolling, to get on our belt. Maybe we would catch a late win, and make a good stride. But after the injuries is probably when they kind of decreased for us.
Wes, can you talk about just the professionalism that you guys displayed after everything went down, just the willingness to continue, especially with the young guys, to compete every night against teams that you were often undermanned against, or just how did y'all hold that together?
We just came together in the locker room. We got to be here, and you want to compete for the guys that you go to war with, and the guys in the locker room. We know how hard, from top to bottom. I could say, for example, starting with Drew. Drew came out every night, no matter the circumstances. And when you got one of the best players on the team leading by example, everybody else kind of falls into line. And we got that from Kenrich, from Frank, from Ja, from Czech, everybody. And I can go down the line, and and name everybody on the team that stepped up when we had to, no matter the circumstances.
With all the challenges y'all did have to face, what do you think about how Alvin handled that?
I think he did a great job. He did what he could as a head coach. I think all our coaching staff came together and tried to find the best ways to put us, in positions to be successful. Yep.
So I guess, what's it like for you going into this summer? Obviously a lot of uncertainty around this organization, around where you're going to be next season. I guess what's it like for you?
Really just a waiting game. I'm just going to take this time, spend time with my family, and enjoy them. So just wait to see what happens.
Darius, can you put into words the atmosphere that you guys had to deal with all season? You go from, such a hot start to the disappointment, then to obviously the trade rumors surrounding Anthony. And how did the guys handle it, you would say?
The guys handled it great. I mean, there was not a huge effect on the locker room. We dealt with a lot of injuries this year. Like you said, we had a pretty good start and had some high expectations in the locker room. But I mean, stuff happens, and I feel like the guys dealt with it pretty well.
You made a really big jump from the first time you were here to the second time. What do you focus on now at this stage of your career as far as improving and just getting better as a player?
The same stuff, really. Just continue to work on every aspect of my game. I'll talk to the coaches and everybody and see what they think I should do this summer, come up with a plan, and just try to execute it.
Last night, Alvin said Anthony's a great guy who got bad advice. You've known him as long as anybody going back to Kentucky. Just your thoughts on maybe how he's been perceived throughout this and how all of this, maybe the fallout has affected him or how he's perceived throughout all this?
I honestly don't really know how he's perceived. I mean, I know that probably think I'm lying, but I mean, I got two wild kids at home, so I don't really pay attention to a lot of this stuff that people say. So, I mean, I don't know how he was perceived, but I feel like he handled it the best way that he could, what he thought was best for himself. So, I mean, like I said earlier, stuff happens. I feel like the whole team dealt with it pretty well, including him. I feel like the coaching staff dealt with it pretty well, and we'll just see where it goes from here.
Darius, did Anthony ever come to you guys in the locker room to talk about what was going on with him? Did he offer like any apologies or maybe ask for advice or anything like that?
No, not any apologies. I don't feel like he needed to offer us an apology, honestly. Like I said, I feel like he's doing what's best for him at this point of his career. And yeah, of course he came and talked to us. We had a pretty close team this year, which is why I think we handled a lot of the stuff that we dealt with pretty well. We had really good team chemistry, so we've all had a lot of talks about the stuff that went on this year.
It seemed like there was a little bit of a difference coming into the season. Last year there was the big off-season where you guys hung out together, worked out together all summer. And this year with the turnover, it didn't seem like there was that same level of chemistry. Did that adjustment period kind of really last through the whole season?
I think it did take a bit longer. One of the guys that made it real easy last year was Rondo. His leadership was incredible from the beginning, and he got a lot of that stuff going that you saw last summer. So I think it took a little bit of an adjustment period this year, but eventually we became really close, and I think it showed up on the court. A lot of times we just couldn't stay healthy, really.
Health-wise for you, you just need a little bit of time and you'll be, back working out.
Oh yeah. Probably maybe a week or so, maybe a couple of days. At this point, it's just day to day.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I have a good summer, man.
You too.
But this was your homecoming, and if the first season kind of didn't go maybe how you planned, overall, how would you just characterize this season for you and for the team as a whole?
Just kind of bittersweet, I think is the word I would use. Show flashes of what could have been, but unfortunately with injuries and things like that, just didn't wasn't able to put it all together.
How difficult was it for you dealing with, it was like injury after injury, you get healthy and then something else pops up?
It was very difficult. This is my first time I've missed this many games with injury, so it was very difficult. And then it's like every time you get playing well, something will happen. So it was difficult, but it's a blessing to make it through.
Can you look at this season, even though you had intermittent injuries and it was hard for you to be on the court consistently? Can you look at the time that you played as that you made a step forward as a player, that you improved and showed different things?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely still feel like I showed that I became a better player this season, despite not playing as many games. Like I said, just unfortunate that it wasn't more, but I definitely feel like I got better.
Despite the disappointments on the court, how did it feel to be home for a full year, playing in front of fans, and how do you think about that moving forward? Would you like to stay in New Orleans?
It was great. It was great playing in front of fans, family and friends, being home. I really didn't have no expectations for it coming in, but it was amazing. Honestly, I think everybody should try if they have the chance to play home. But yeah, I would definitely want to be back. If given the opportunity.
One of the things that you talked about before the season began was becoming a better leader. Do you feel like you learned something from guys in the locker room like Drew, and then have you applied those things for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. All kind of things. I'll be up here, talking all day, trying to name all the things that I learned this year. But I definitely think I took some steps forward in that too. Not just leading by example, but being more vocal, especially towards the end of the season with those young guys.
A lot of talk around this organization, the fan base, and how maybe this AD stuff will change the way how people look at the team. Obviously they're fighting an uphill battle with the Saints in town and stuff like that. But how do you kind of perceive the way this city kind of embraces this team and where they can be, going into the future?
Honestly, I think we have a pretty good fan base. To be honest, it's been a lot of games that I feel like the fans came out and support. And I mean, by me being here, I know a lot of people, so I know people talk about the Pelicans a lot. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like we have a solid fan base. I don't see no problem with it, to be honest.
What would you say are your primary considerations in terms of deciding whether to come back? Like, for example, would you want to see who the GM is and hear what the plan is, or is it just a matter of a competitive offer? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's just a little too early to say right now. Too early to say. Good. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
I guess, what's your mindset going into the offseason? Obviously, a lot of uncertainty around this organization, potential free agency for you. I guess, what's your mindset going in?
I'm just relaxed right now. Just reflect on the season. Just ways I can improve, but just relax right now. Enjoy my family. Enjoy being home, and soon I'll get back into the grind and get better.
You mentioned, ways that you can improve this summer. What do you think that you showed this year as far as just the jump that you made as a player? People talk about you as, most improved player candidate, stuff like that.
I mean, it just shows, opportunity and preparation. Just years of preparation and hard work, and finally coming here and getting my opportunity, I was able to make a jump. So, I expect that next year as well out of myself, and I know that'll happen. So, my job is just to prepare.
I'm sorry. Is it bittersweet in some ways that you had the most personal success you've had as a player, but the season didn't go as you anticipated when you arrived here?
Yeah, it is disappointing to me personally, just because I pride myself on winning, and hopefully, I can do more of that next year, and I'll find ways that I can help the team win more. So, I reflect on that as well.
Julius, not that a lot of this is because of you, but you've been around a lot of craziness since you came into the league with the Lakers organization and changes, and then this year with Anthony. At some point, and I mean this kind of in a moment of levity, do you think it'll be normal for me in a situation at some point somewhere?
It's the NBA, man. You never know what can happen. So, it's all fun and entertainment, and at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens. But you just try to focus on what you can control. And like I said, that's just me preparing myself to be the best player I can be to help my team win games. And everything else is outside noise. You can't worry about it.
Would you like to be back, Joy?
Yeah, I mean, I love it here. But we'll see. See what happens.
How would you describe your curiosity or what you've been focused on most in watching how this organization moves forward? Because clearly this is going to be one of the teams that has a very eventful offseason.
I don't really know what I'm going to be watching for, to be honest with you, man. I haven't really put any much thought and focus into that right now.
Well, for example, you want to see who the new GM is, and then probably find out what his plan is and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you definitely want to know that, we're going in the right direction. As far as trying to develop this, this team and win games. And at the end of the day, you prepare and you work hard to try to win a championship. So you want to know that you're going in that type of direction. But like I said, that's starts from top to bottom, and I'm sure ownership will do a great job of putting somebody in place to carry out that, and we'll go from there.
So a season like you had will give you leverage on options as a free agent. Can you give us a sense of what you're looking for a team to show you in order to either lure you to stay or lure you away?
Like everything else in the league, you want to be wanted where you at, and I just want to continue to develop and build off what I was able to do this year. And most importantly, I want to be able to compete and win. It's important.
Can you you're somebody who's been in both organizations, just kind of, the fallout from what happened in January, Dell's been fired, Magic's resigned, both teams missed the playoffs. Have you kind of thought about it and wrapped your head around how one decision affects so many people and franchises?
It's kind of clear as day, I guess you could say, but I don't really put too much thought into that type of stuff because, like I said, that stuff is so much out of my control when so much goes on that you don't know about. So I don't really try to put my effort into that type of stuff, thinking about that stuff or trying to wrap my mind around it, because it's not going to, affect what I do on the court. I'm in control of that, so that's why I try to focus on the things I can control.
If or when the decision is made to trade Anthony, and there are two directions a team can go. They can go to a total rebuild or try to compete immediately. Would either of those situations, considering where you are in your career and the fact that you have stated repeatedly that you want to be part of a winning organization, would those things affect your decision-making on whether or not to return to New Orleans?
I don't know. I mean, you just got to look at every situation. I can't speak on a situation that hasn't happened. So I don't know what the situation will look like. But like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed my time here. Would love to be back, but like I said, you got to look at every situation and look at options and do what's best for you and your family and your career at the moment. So we'll see. Hopefully it all works out, but can't tell. We'll see.
Joe, even though you've been here less than a year, how close would you say you've gotten with some of the guys in the locker room? And would that be a part of your decision in coming back, like say because Drew's going to be here or something like that?
Very close, man. It was a very close group. We had a lot of fun this year. Everybody got along. We got a bunch of good guys in that locker room. So, it always makes it tough to leave, and it makes it easier to stay. So, like I said, everybody has their own personal situations, and everybody has to do what's best for them. But I really enjoyed my time with these guys. So, it's a lot of fun for me this year.
Julius, as far as the priority is concerned, how do you balance money and winning, and how much of each one of those things will be a part of what you decide to do in the offseason?
So how do I balance it?
Yeah, I mean, some guys say, well, I want to win, and maybe I take a little less money. Other guys, hey, it's a business, and I'm going to, get the best business deal I can. You're kind of at that point in your career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still young. I'm 24 years old, so young enough to know this business on both sides. But I'm also, smart enough to know that what really matters in this league is winning. So, like I said, I don't really know how to weigh the options right now. Season just ended yesterday, but once the options are on the table, and I talk to my family and my agent and all those people about it, we'll go from there. But right now it's hard to say what options to weigh when you don't really know what's going to happen.
Obviously, you know AD much better than we do, so I guess what is it like for you to kind of see how much the perception around him has changed, the way people see him, the way people talk about him after all of this?
No, I think it's unfair. I think just being around the guy from the beginning of the year in the summer to now, one of the best teammates I've ever had. From a leadership standpoint, to the player he is absolutely amazing. For AD, I always tell people like ask me we went to Kentucky, so my wife's from Kentucky, and her family asked me, or just people that I know ask me, man, how is it? How's it like playing with AD? And I always tell them he's the most selfless superstar I've ever been around. For a guy to be, the type of player he is, you see a lot of guys with egos and all that type of stuff, and AD's never had that from day one. Never been a selfish guy, never been, it's bigger than the team. And the perception is what it is, but, for me, being with him just this year, he's been a great teammate for me.
Having said that, when a guy like that who's been here 7 years and you've only been here 1 year, and he decides he needs to go somewhere else to get where he wants to be, does that give you pause about where you want to be going forward?
Like I said, everybody's individual situation is different. For him, he felt like he's doing what's best for him. For me, I'll do what's best for me. And it's still going to be love regardless. I'm still always going to root for him, cheer for him. So like I said, it's everybody's situation is different, so it's hard to, compare my situation to his. Appreciate you.
Probably more.
So I guess Obviously, you've had a lot of ups and downs during your career. How would you describe this season? What it's been like for you?
Overall, it's been a positive season. Just comparing this to where I was last year at the end of the season, just a completely different mindset. And I'm just in a positive mindset, and I'm happy with the season overall. And I have a lot to look forward to next year. So now just ready to relax for a little bit and get back to it.
I know based on the previous year or so, one of the things that you needed when you came here was the opportunity to play. Even though it didn't happen consistently the whole season, what did you think of what you did with the chances that you had when you did get to play this year?
I thought I made the most of it. I thought when my number was called that I stayed ready. And that's a lot of credit goes to the coaches that we have here, the player development coaches that works with us behind the scenes, day-to-day basis, that lock in on the guys who aren't playing, who's racking up DMPs. And they're really beneficial for me.
As part of that bench group, there was a lot of criticism this year early on about the bench, and then there were criticisms directed at the staff for not developing the young players. Being around this team every day, being in practice every day, could you just talk about how the organization dealt with the younger guys and developing that second unit this season?
I thought they did a great job developing us. They didn't let us play right away. They didn't really give certain guys, younger guys, an opportunity. I wouldn't say that doesn't mean that they developed us, but everything happens for a reason. And I think when certain guys got that opportunity, they did some really good things, like Frank, Shaq, and obviously Kenrich. He worked his way into the starting lineup. So it was positive, and that's why I'm really excited for next year because we have a lot of good young guys coming back.
How important for you was it to finish as strong as you did, finishing with a 30-point game and kind of being able to take that momentum into the offseason?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to finish out on a high note. I had a good stretch of games when A was out, so I just wanted to make sure that I was consistent. I definitely wanted to make sure that I finished the season strong.
How much does it change things for you having some type of certainty about where you're going to be, what the team is going to be asking of you, that type of stuff?
Yeah, it changes. It's just completely different. I went to dinner last night with my father, and we just talked about just how different we are right now than where we were last year, and did my season in Brooklyn. But it's a good feeling, and it makes you appreciate some of the hard times we went through.
What are some of the things that you focus on this offseason to get ready for next year?
Body. It always comes down to my body, making sure that I'm in the best physical shape as possible. I was in Miami training last year, and it treated me really well. So I'm going to continue to do that and work with David Alexander. So I'm excited about that.
Keep working on three-pointers?
Maybe. I'll talk to the coaches about it, see if they want me to.
One of the things you kind of also established this season that there's still a place for a guy with low post moves. How do you think that presents a problem for those teams that have not seen a guy like you who can dominate on the block consistently?
All I can say is I'm just confident in my abilities, and I just feel like I can get like a good rhythm, get a good chance to consistently play. I can go out there and play with the best of them. And this is good for me to have some good games under my belt, to have something to look back to this offseason, and also more things to improve on.
You mentioned having dinner with your dad and reflecting on the years passing every year. Would you say you feel kind of personally empowered now?
What do you mean?
Well, you've gone through something somewhat unusual, but other people go through it. Do you feel empowered not only to advance yourself, but to improve situations for other people?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely feeling empowered. I think when you go through something tough and then you feel like you come out on the right side of it, it's definitely a great feeling, and it makes you just appreciate everything that you went through. So I guess that is a good way I do feel empowered, for sure.
On your crazy level season scale, because you've seen some stuff, where would you put the totality of this season?
This is year 4 for me.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy stuff since I've been in the NBA. Can't really say it's up there because I've only had my 4th season, but it goes right along with some of the other crazy stuff I've had to deal with.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Have a good summer.
Hey, you too.
It's
Hey,
cracking.
man, it's been a while.
Yeah, no.
So I
How's
guess
the
it's-
rehab going?
How's rehab going? It's going well. I mean, just taking my time, getting back right, getting stronger.
Obviously, there's been some crazy seasons here. I guess where would this one measure up with what you dealt with?
You mean like personally or all together? I mean, because me personally, I've been hurt for,
Right.
you know what I mean? I played most of this season, so I'm grateful for that. But honestly, man, I had fun playing with my teammates. We battled. I felt like we battled every night. Maybe there's a couple games where, matter of fact, there's 2 Orlando games that we didn't really come to show. But other than that, I think we battled every night.
Drew, how excited are you about the future?
Really excited. I think some of the younger guys that we have are kind of got a chance toward the end of the year to kind of showcase their talent and play well and show what they can do. Obviously, with opportunities in this offseason to re-sign guys or pick up new guys, to see what happens with the future with upper management. Just everything's kind of up in the air, but just being positive, I feel like it's the best way to go.
You talked about stuff you've dealt with in the past, but how much is life going to change for you if and when Anthony is finally dealt?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. It's been 6 years. It's been 6 years that I've got to play with Anthony, and right now, I know nothing else. So hopefully I see him in the Pelicans jersey next year.
Drew, the odds are you're going to become the face of this franchise. Are you excited by that, looking forward to it?
I'm excited to be here at the end of the day. Whatever that title may be, if I'm here, I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing, which is trying to win every game, leave it all on the court, and play as hard as I can. Be as transparent with my teammates and the coaches and upper management as possible, and try to win.
One thing I kind of noticed this season, the last 2 seasons, is that there seems to be just a more of a level of assurance and comfortability in your game right now, and in turn you've ascended in the league. Do you feel right now, emotionally, physically, mentally, you're reaching that peak of your career?
Maybe. I mean, I feel good. I feel healthy. Some of the healthiest I've been in my career. I feel like that was a big part of it, being able to not have to worry about minute restrictions or feeling like I'm still, like injuries are still bothering me or whatever. So mentally that was out the window. I had some family issues. That's behind me. So I feel like I can just really focus on basketball, and especially the last 2 years, that's what I've been able to do. But again, it's been fun. It's been fun playing. Hopefully when I play, I show it. I know sometimes I'm just a little calm and collected, but I love playing here. I love my teammates, and playing here is awesome.
Given the fact that you're 29 years old and in your prime, how important is it for you that the next general manager in the Davis trade keeps the team competitive and maybe doesn't go into a full-blown rebuild type of situation?
Right, yeah. Thanks for saying that, man. I'm getting old. I just finished my 10th year in the league, so I know guys can play until 20 years. I don't know about that, but it's yeah, I feel like I'm getting up there, and I want to be competitive now, and I'd like to win now.
Drew, do you think knowing that there's going to be new management and they're going to look at the roster differently, do you think there's a chance that, maybe you are playing somewhere else next year?
I've been traded before, and I didn't know about it, so I think there's there's an opportunity or option for everything. I don't know who they're bringing in, and I don't know what decisions he's going to make on rebuilding or whatever it is, but I guess whenever that path comes, I guess I'll have to make a tough decision.
Do you have any desire to be involved in some of the decisions that are being made this offseason?
For sure. I mean, I feel like I've been here for a minute. Dale would, when he was here, he would talk to me. He would talk to Anthony, but he would talk to me too, and ask for input. I'd like to continue that.
Can you talk about Alvin and the way he handled everything this year, and just your experiences over the last 4 years with him as the head coach?
Yeah, just a professional. It must be hard as a head coach when I guess you have everything that happened this year around trade deadline happened, and the way he handled it in the locker room was just like the ultimate professional, and just to be able to continue to try to win games no matter what is the biggest goal. So it shows what type of person he truly is.
Drew, following up on that, how would you describe the level of distraction day to day now that the season's over that you guys dealt with?
I mean, it was there, but there's always something, right? If it's somebody being hurt or, I don't know, a losing streak or whatever it is, there's always something. But I know that in that locker room, we've always been a family, and we've been like that. We've been glue. Even though we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, I know the guys out there, and when they go on the court, they're always trying to win. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters to me.
How strange would it be for you guys if Anthony's still here to start next year?
Strange? I mean, to me, he's top 3 players in the world, so it wouldn't be that strange. I played with him for 6 years, and hopefully I can play with him for more than that. But I mean, say that he doesn't get traded this summer, but yeah, I know, right? But again, I'd love to play with him. I don't think it's weird at all if he were to come back and play. I know what he's here for. I know he's here to play basketball at the end of the day. Yeah, he takes the situation to his own hands, but when he's on the court with us, I know what he's here to do.
One of the things Darius mentioned was that last season during the preseason, that level of bonding where you guys were all together for a lot of the offseason working together. And this year it wasn't the same because of the turnover. Do you feel like it took longer to establish chemistry with the new teammates and that overturn that's been kind of happening since you got here?
Maybe. I also know that our first 4 games we went 4-0, and then like 3 starters got hurt. That could definitely be an issue when it comes to, I guess, just us being able to get into a groove and then breaking that groove. I do think a little bit of that played in where maybe in the off season we didn't get a lot of time together. But again, you go through obstacles, and I feel like you kind of have to kind of duck and dodge those obstacles and be able to adjust. So.
Coach Gentry said his message to the team last night was, you guys will make the playoffs next year. You've seen what it takes to make the playoffs. What, I guess, gives you confidence that that can happen or will happen?
First thing is the attitude and speaking it. I feel like you can speak things to existence, and having that positive energy out there and setting a goal from now until next year, the beginning of next year is very important. I also do think that we have players who've been to the playoffs, players that are hungry, and again, just a little bit of consistency where we have some guys that are coming back, and even though they're young, I feel like they had a lot of experience this year.
When he was healthy, how did Alfred allow you to be who you want to be?
Man, I can score. Again, the way he passes the ball, I feel like everybody saw is crazy. It's elite. So, oh, thanks, Anthony. So to be able to go out there and have 4 or 5 straight triple doubles, to
Thinking about me.
always, bro. Yeah, I said you weren't leaving. To to be able to go out there and even just, I mean, play with triple doubles night in and night out is crazy. I just wish I could have had more time to play with him.
Drew, do you hope that he comes back and maybe they say Julius Randle as well?
For sure. I think 2 guys where they get into the paint and it's extremely easy getting around the basket. I know we were top in the league in paint points or just getting into the paint, and I feel like that's huge, especially for obviously collapsing the defense and being able to hit threes. But a guy like Julius, where he's essentially unguardable, he started knocking down his 3, so that opens up the floor for him to drive. And, man, Alfred was shooting 3 very, very well, but getting to the paint and making passes, he's elite at that.
I guess Julius is a guy that dealt with a lot of change, obviously, over the past year. What do you think about the growth he showed despite all the stuff that's been thrown at him?
Yeah, huge. I mean, he's been through a lot, so I'm pretty sure he knew how to handle it. But I do think the way that he stepped up and kind of took more of a role, and even when guys were out, man, he played his heart out, and I feel like that's all anybody could ever ask for.
You guys have 2 top 5 defenders last season defensively you were a top 5 team in that second half of the season, but it never got going this year. What was the problem on that end? What was the disconnect there?
I don't know. I feel like we kind of try to talk about that all the time. Maybe it's a little bit of inconsistency. Maybe it's we just never got into a groove. You know what I mean? Just sometimes that happens. Maybe I don't know. We're focused a little more on offense and trying to get up and down and score. But obviously something that we're gonna have to change if we want to be a good team.
Alvin says a lot that they ask more of you than most teams ask of most players. How do you balance enjoying the responsibility with also liking to have the burden lessened a little bit?
I guess the burden would only be maybe like 35 minutes instead of 38. But
True, makes that big of a difference.
I think so. I do think so, especially with games where you might go for 40 minutes and 40 minutes plus. But I like the challenge. I just always have. Being able to do it on the defensive end, and then that give me the opportunity to also do it on the offensive end. So it's not like it's one-sided. I feel like it's a pretty balanced thing to do. So.
I know you kind of don't care about these things, but you had a historically good season,
Thanks,
statistically. I mean, ain't no thanks, you did it. But you're still an under-the-radar guy. You're rated the most underrated player in the league by poll that The Athletic did. You seem secure in all that, but do you at the same time feel like you should be recognized more for what you do in this league?
I mean, my peers see it. That's all that really matters. I feel like everybody's entitled to their opinion, and whatever that is okay. But I know the guys that do the same thing I do and put in the work and put in the time and have surgeries and get hurt and go through ups and downs through the season, recognize that, and I feel like to me that's what feels good. Guys who go through the fire like I do.
Drew, is that jersey autographed to you or just a generic autograph?
It's to me. It's to me. I just gave him one of my jerseys and I wrote a nice little message on there. So he's gonna enjoy it. Definitely enjoy the message.
Real quick on Alvin, and this is not asking you to campaign for or against him staying, but where does the record of the team during his 4 seasons, I mean, can you put that into its proper context? Because obviously the record is not necessarily flattering other than last season.
Right.
But there's more factors, I mean, in terms of evaluating what he's done for 4 years.
For sure. I feel like he's kind of been the guy who has let us grow. I know he's for sure let me grow. He's given me responsibility and he's asked of it, and when he saw me succeed in it, he asked for more. But I feel like he puts guys in position for the most part to be successful, and he lets us play. I know there's sometimes there's coaches that you kind of feel like they're holding you back as a player and kind of restrict you, but I feel like he just kind of lets you go and figure it out yourself, and then from there you kind of have the conversation if it's working out or not. But he's always been like a partner instead of like a dictator, and I feel like for professionals like ourselves and the guys in the locker room, we really respect that.
Thank you, Drew.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, Drew.
All right, we're good.
Yeah. So, So I guess obviously you were drafted in Detroit, made the move here, some uncertainty going into this offseason that you probably haven't dealt with in the past. So I guess what's that like?
It is what it is. I mean, it comes with a job. I'm not really stressed or worried about it. I mean, I'm sure you have an agent for it and stuff like that, but I'm excited to get back in the gym this summer after I heal up and work on some things in my game. I think I've got better skill-wise and stuff every year, and I enjoy working out. So every summer is really, really big, and I'm just happy that I'm gonna have a chance to get a healthy summer and get some work in.
Do you try to focus on some of the point guard stuff to just add that aspect to your game? Yeah, for sure. For sure. I try to, for sure. Yeah, that's all I can say for sure. I try to work on everything usually, but I think sometimes the best teacher's experience. So I think with the experience I've got, I kind of see the court a different way. I know some things I need to work on already, and the coaches are really big on it already. So we have a plan together pretty much, and just following through with that.
You came into this kind of late
Mm-hmm.
this season. Were there, when you were in Detroit and this whole thing was going down here,
Yeah.
were your observations from the outside looking in, and then once you arrived, what was your perception of the franchise? How did it change?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Outside looking in, it's like so much going on, and then you get around here, it's like, oh, like, it's like, it's not really that crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you could say if the team was healthy for the majority of the year, it'd still be a playoff team. We were right there before everybody started getting hurt again. We had a chance to make a real solid run. And then, if Anthony was playing his, normal minutes, I don't see there's some games I thought we could have took and made it interesting for sure. But I mean, everybody's really nice here, really good. Like I haven't met a bad person here. I really enjoyed my experience thus far, from Miss Benson down. So it's not, the TV makes it look crazy, but it's not that crazy. So yeah.
Does that perspective also include Anthony Davis and a trade request? Because he made that while you were still in Detroit, and probably everybody around the league probably had their own ideas.
Yeah.
But once you got here, can you describe how maybe wrong you were in your beliefs and what the actual situation was like?
I mean, my stance is like every man makes their own path. Every man makes their own destiny. So you can't knock a man for wanting to do what he wants and what he thinks is right. So I never really had a stance on AD, but I mean, some things get portrayed about him, X, Y, and Z. It's like, I mean, just talk to him for a second and see, just talk to him. If you get a chance to talk to him, then I don't think you would think the same things you think about him. But he's a great dude, man. He's one of the best I've been around for sure.
Obviously, you and Ja are really close. What do you think about the way he's kind of taking advantage of the opportunities he's been presented here?
Yeah, I mean, the league's about opportunity, straight up. So the more opportunity you get and the more prepared you are for it, the better you're going to do. And I mean, like I said before, I told you guys many times, I know what he's capable of. Like all this stuff, him driving full court and making a lob pass, I know he's capable of that type of stuff. It's just opportunity and space. Straight.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chilling.
Hey, Twan, you come a little closer. Yeah. Cool. Just want to hear your beautiful voice.
Yeah,
You're good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You're good.
God, hear those answers, man. So I guess just how would you describe this season, and what was it for you, like personally, with all the stuff going on around the team?
I mean, of course, there's a lot of ups and downs of the year. When we made the playoffs, it was our goal. So the only thing I can do is look forward to the future, and hopefully have a better one next year.
Can you also talk about, not only from a team standpoint, it was disappointing, but for you individually, because you got off to a great start personally. I think the first 2-3 months, you were scoring well, getting to your spots, playing a lot of minutes and stuff like that, and suddenly the injuries hit.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. The way I think is, if you put your all into it, then you never be disappointed. It's just, you just gotta live with the outcome. course, I had some injuries. I played through a lot of them, So if you saw those, one of the reasons why probably some of my stats went down because I was playing through banged up, just trying to help our team win. And, sometimes you got to sacrifice. And that was, I'm saying, one of the times this year, well, a couple times this year, I sacrificed for the team. I'm like, I'm not worried about me. If I can even go out there and help us win, if it's just even just spot up shooting and playing defense, whatever it takes, So this is what it is.
The last quarter of the season really became about developing the young guys. As one of the vets, what did you take on as a role to kind of help those guys mature? And then what did you see out of them that's encouraging coming back for next season?
I mean, anytime I can, give my input or, give advice, I always, willing to help. As I had that, happen to me, when I was on great teams. I had older guys always come in, give me advice and it helped me out a lot. So that was definitely cool. And those guys went out to play hard, every single night, and we was in almost every game, So that was a big plus.
Obviously, if AD does get traded this summer, a lot of responsibility is going to fall on Drew's shoulders as kind of the face of the franchise. How prepared do you think he is for that role or that responsibility?
I mean, if. I mean, yeah, we never know what's gonna happen, But Drew, he ready for anything. He's been an all-star, playing deep into the playoffs. He got the experience, He mentally tough, so he definitely ready for any challenge. So, if it is, on him, then he'll definitely step up and look forward to it.
Before the injuries happened to you and started affecting you, are there any positives that you can take individually from the season? For example, I think you are going to finish top 10 or top 5 in three-point percentage.
Oh yeah. For me, I still had a great season. For me, I think I still had a good year. And like I fell off or something, what I'm saying? Just had a game, I had a game go. When I was out there, try to help my team win, and I just look forward to the next year, get better, and I was try to hope I have a better season next year than I did the previous two. But for me, it still was good. For me, it's a good season.
How much tougher was it for you this year in terms of everything changing around you all the time compared to the year before, where it seemed like you had a pretty similar role for the whole season?
Yeah, it definitely is a challenge. Anytime you got moving parts and you playing this spot, this position, or different lineups and stuff. But it's just part of the game. Where I think, like I said, just you put your all into it. Whatever the outcome is just gotta live with it. I feel like every time I always put myself in the best situation. So.
Can you talk about Coach Gentry, the job that he did in stabilizing the team this season and dealing with what he has over these last few years, injury-wise, player changes, and all those things?
Oh yeah, anytime there was challenges, Coach always tried to keep us focused and not let any distractions or anything get in the way. He did a good job of managing that, and I took my hat off to him.
Do you just need rest and rehab, or is there a possibility of any kind of surgery?
Any kind of surgery? No, I don't need any surgery. I just had to rehab and mostly rest and heal up. But yeah, I'm pretty good though.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Can you, I guess, first of all, obviously you missed a lot of the season. Can you update us on where you are health-wise right now?
Yeah, I'm about 11 weeks into the injury, so I just got back on the court last week, started doing shooting activities, ball handling, and hopefully the plan is by the end of April, beginning of May, I'll be able to go with contact. Still restrictions with the brace on a little bit, but hopefully by mid-May, end of May, I'll be able to go full go, so everything's on pace.
How disappointing was it to have that especially when this team was having a lot of openings where you could have been playing time on the...
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. I mean, it's definitely disappointing, seeing that you could have possibly had an opportunity to come out on the floor and play, but, you had injuries. But at the same time, I looked at the glass half full, and just told me it was an opportunity for me to really lock in and develop on what I needed to develop to get me to the next level consistently. So in a way, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise because it made me realize, it put things into perspective for me and made me realize, where my place is. So
How much did it help being with the main team after learning?
a
And
lot.
seeing a lot of things?
I would say a lot, just because you go to the G League, and we didn't have a G League this year. You go and you kind of lose memory of like the plays and the continuity and all that. You watch film, but it's just different when you actually see it in front of you and run the plays. So just to come back and see everything, and then just get in the atmosphere, the pro atmosphere, high energy at all times. It felt good, and kind of raised confidence level back up.
After spending a year around these guys, around the pro game, what are you kind of focusing on going into the off season as far as what you need to improve?
I think the biggest thing is, just overall athletic ability in my body. I talked to, a lot of people here, and even during the pre-draft last year, that was kind of the big thing for me. So, now that I'm hurt, I really don't have no excuse on, not to accomplish those things. So I would just say, being able to, change my body and then being able to play on both ends.
What do you think was some of the biggest differences you saw in terms of this level compared to what you saw in college in terms of where your game fits and what you need to?
It's a lot more thinking into this game, and the players they just think, for instance, I'll give you Elfrid Payton. I just feel like he thinks beyond his years, and he makes the game so easy. So, and Drew, same as him. So it's just a lot more thinking. These guys make the right reads. They play off the defense's errors, and so and I feel like that's kind of how I play. I feel like I have a high IQ and kind of mesh with that. So that was definitely the big difference. And then overall, definitely the intensity and physicality in the league. It's beyond none other. So
You made a lot of threes in Vegas last year. Yeah, looking forward to getting back out there.
Definitely do. Can't wait to get back on the court in about a couple months. With the Pelicans, and hopefully we got the same type of ride we did last year. So looking forward to it.
I feel like you guys have a chance to have a pretty stacked summer team with all the guys that already played.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We've been talking about it for a minute. We got some players, and especially for me, somebody that's been out for 2 months. I'm looking at summer league like regular season. So I think we're pretty. Our goal is set on winning the summer league title, and I think we got the players to do it. So
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
A lot of love.
So I guess How would you describe this season and kind of the growth you showed throughout the year?
Oh, this season it was up and down a little bit, you know. Sometimes I play, sometimes not playing. But I always think, you know, next thing I'm not really worried about I was not playing or not get a lot of minutes I wanted. I just keep working hard every day, you know. To me, I feel like nobody can kill my dream, you know. I just keep working hard every single day. This year was a little bit different than last year, but I was really happy, you know, minutes I was getting and thing I was playing for my team.
Check, even though the team's success wasn't there, do you feel like you took a next step individually as a player?
I really did. I really did it, you know, because I was not really expecting, you know, it's going to be like that. But, you know, what you can say is NBA, you know, you just got to keep working hard every single day.
When you came in, you know, the franchise said you were a project, and you hadn't played a lot of games collegiately or at a high level. What have these 2 years been like for you as far as your development? What have you noticed about the league and how far you've had to progress to become that guy who gets those regular minutes?
I feel like you just said now, you know, this is my 30 years now, so I feel like I learned a lot, you know, basketball off the court, on the court, you know, I learned a lot, you know, player-wise, you know, my teammate, you know, locker room, playing like so many different guys all the time, you know, I feel like get so much better playing basketball, you know, because, you know, it's NBA, you know, everybody's so really, really good player, you know, but you just gotta know the game every single day, you know. I just keep learning the game every single day, you know. I'm still a player, I still want to learn every single day, you know. Not only way I play, like men next to me, you know, my teammate, you know. It was really, really good this year, you know. I feel like I get so much better personal and my teammate.
I know you talked about before the season working on your three-point shot, and you made one last night. But beyond the perimeter shooting, how happy were you with your field goal percentage this year? It was really good in the last stretch of the season. You're shooting like 60% or something like that.
Oh, I was taking my time, you know. I was not trying to rush anything, you know, because last year, you know, I was rushing trying to score. But this year, I take a time, you know. Every time I catch a ball, if I'm open, I shoot it. If I'm not, I just pass it, you know, just find an open man, you know. But this year, like, I was talking about it because last game, Ja make a 3. So I was like, this one gotta be my turn now. So that's why I just stepped back in the 3, I make a 3. Everybody was going crazy. All bench was like, oh yeah, Shaq, you know, we seen it. I mean, that's the thing I'm trying to add to my game for next year. You know, I was trying to add it this year, but I feel like it was not the right time. So I just take it back a little bit. But next year, definitely, you know, that's the thing I want to add to my game.
What was it like seeing the bench kind of go crazy when
I mean, I was not even playing defense, so I make a 3, I was running back, and just scored a layup. I was like, oh, coach got yelling at me, but, you know, it was halftime, so I was really, really happy I make it that 3.
Do you have any plans this summer for work on more celebrations, more different types of stuff you're going to try to bring back to the
basically,
table?
I have to, you know, because this year was a big year for me, you know. This summer, I'm going to work a little bit everything, you know, because last night I saw people a little bit like my passing skill, you know. That's something I'm trying to add to my game, like passing wise, you know, because, you know, there's not a lot of big men in the league, you know, can pass, you know, and can dribble and shoot and stuff like that. That's the thing I'm trying to add to my game. I mean, I used to pass it back in high school, stuff like that, but NBA is a different level. So I'm trying to add it to my game, you know. If I see open man, like a DHO, you know, pick and roll stuff, you know, I'm trying to add it, that's my game, you know. So that's going to help me grow like a player.
We talked about this a little bit last year with the Wakanda Forever and stuff, but what's it been like seeing the way the fan base has kind of embraced you and your personality, not necessarily the basketball player, but just the way you joke around and all that kind of stuff?
That thing, it was, a lot of people know me, you know, doing Wakanda thing, you know, even now on the street, you know, if I'm on the downtown, stuff like that, people see me, people do it all the time, Wakanda stuff. You know, helped me a lot, you know, because some player or some people or some fan, they doesn't really come to watch a game, but if they see me in the downtown, they'll be like, oh, Shaq, Wakanda, you know, it's a thing that people know, like, okay, that player that just happened, make that thing happen, you know, it's feel like, you know, something good. Sometimes I feel myself like, wow, people really, really recognize now, okay, that's what Shaq used to do when he's playing. So it's a thing that make me really, really happy.
Checking your minutes, you were an elite rebounder by percentage. You had the highest on the team. top shooting percentage, top true shooting percentage, top 5 player impact in the minutes that you got. How do you feel about your consistency, and what's made you, as a rebounder, even at your size, slender guy, so effective?
I just be out there, trying to do a little bit of everything, whatever my team need me to do, because every game, before the game started, I talk to my coach, I'd be like, so what do you want me to do tonight? He say, I need you to go get 3 offensive rebounds or 4 offensive rebounds. So that's my mindset. I'm like, I need to get 6 defense, probably 4 offense, you know what I mean? So that's my mindset every time I step in the court I'm going to play. So that's my mindset. I would just want to, every time I step in it, I just play hard like it's my last day. Because, I have so many responsible, I have people depend on me, So every time I play basketball, that's the only thing that makes me happy. So that's why I love to play. I love to do my country. I love to do for my family. So whatever I do for my country and my family. That's why I just love playing, Every time I step in court, I just go crazy, because that's the thing I really love to do.
And I guess it might be a little weird, first time in a while we're probably not going to see you in Vegas. So I guess what's the summer going to be like for you?
I'm not really worried about, anything right now, because, it's going to be a long summer for me. I just want to let everything happen, Like you just said, I don't know if I'm not going to be there for Summer League this year, but I got some other stuff to take care, just want to keep working hard, just be in the gym, working my game every single day.
Appreciate it, Chad.
Thank you.
It wasn't the question you asked, right? So I guess, how would you describe this season for you? Obviously, a long road to get on the court and actually contribute. So I guess, what was it like to finally be able to do that?
It was great. I think it was a great learning experience for me, a good building year. Definitely a lot of ups and downs with the rookie season, and just learning something new every single day. But overall, I thought it was great, and I'm excited for next year.
How tough was it to have the stretch where you get scoring, and you have like the 10 straight games, or you scoring double figures, and then to have the concussion and kind of end it?
Well, yeah, it stinks, but it's basketball. It happens. It was just kind of unfortunate. I was right underneath the guy, and he just came down on my head. But I felt good, man. Felt good. I feel good right now, and like I said, just ready to get to work this summer and it's off season and come back and better than ever next year.
You're good as far as all of the concussion protocol and all that
stuff?
stuff?
Yeah, I'm cool. I was definitely a little out of it for about a week or two, but I'm cool now.
That adjustment from missing your rookie year and then coming in and trying to make it through an 82-game season, how much of that was an adjustment mentally with all the responsibilities you're given as a guard, and then physically to try to make it through?
There's nothing like it. It was tough for sure. I think even last year, like sitting out helped, but you don't get that playing experience without actually playing. Obviously, there's so many games throughout the year, and it's like you play every other night almost. So something I had to get used to, but I thought it was a good year for me to kind of knock it out, and it was good.
That relationship you have with Drew was something that you talked a lot about in the off season and through this season. It's been something that you've continued to stress. With him kind of going up and to be the face of the franchise now, how important do you think he can be in that role? And then how do you think the rest of the guys in the locker room will follow behind him?
Huge, obviously. I'm so lucky to be able to be his teammate and to be his friend. And he's a guy that I've learned so much from already. And he's a great leader. He already was a great leader. He does a great job leading by example, and he plays hard every possession. And he kind of motivates, us as players as we see, one of the best guards in the league every night. Give it his all. But I think he's going to be huge for this franchise. He's going to be huge for our team, and I'm glad I have that relationship the rest of my life with him.
Can we expect to see you back with him this summer, working out the way?
Most definitely. I'm definitely going to be out there even more than I was last summer. I think the time I spent with him and
just being by his side, I learned so much. So I'm definitely be back there.
Have you guys made a decision as far as whether you'd be in summer league this year?
I think I am. I'm not really sure. I still got to talk to. I don't have no idea. But like for the most part, I think I would be for sure.
You kind of proven you can score in this league. What are the things that you feel like, just looking at your own game, that you'd like to go into the offseason and really improve upon?
I think obviously being consistent, but I think defensively, playing better team defense, just kind of tweaking some things individually with my defense. But I think just continue to work on my range, continue to work on my consistent three. But yeah.
Obviously, there was a lot going on in the locker room this year and around this team. What's it like, kind of wanting to figure out your own path and figure out what it takes to be successful in this league, while also dealing with all the craziness that comes with playing in the NBA?
Yeah, no, it's we did have kind of an unusual year, but at the same time, I thought our group was still connected, was super strong, and I was surrounded by a great group of guys who teach me kind of how to find myself in the league, or how I could stick. So it was nice this year to be able to sit and have so many guys on my side and willing to help me when I needed it.
And can you talk about Alvin and the rest of the coaching staff and how they've helped you this year to become a better player?
Definitely, Alvin's been great. He's someone I love to play. I love to play for. He's definitely a player's coach, and he allows us to play and make mistakes and play through them. But he's been great, and so is the rest of the staff. I think they've been fans of mine since I got here, and looking forward to work with them. And but they've been huge on both ends of the court.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks. Good year.
How you doing?
Hey, Darius. Good. How are you, man?
So obviously, you weren't here for very long, but I guess what did you kind of take away from this experience?
Well, I mean, it's been great. I've really been enjoying my experience here. This organization is great, this league is great, and it's been nothing but fun being out here.
Darius, are you looking forward to your summer and then playing in the summer league as well?
Of course, I mean, every chance I get to be here, I mean, I'm just going to try to take advantage of it.
What did you learn in the limited minutes you did play on what you need to work on?
Well, the game is so much faster than in Europe. I mean, here everything goes kind of in a flow. You know, in Europe, like you go on an offense, somebody calls a play, everybody sets up, and then you just go from there. But here is just like basically like as I said, like going with the flow and then reading the game and trying to find the situations out of that.
Is there anything in particular you want to work on going into the summer?
Well, I mean, I should work on like getting my shot up here because it's I mean it's also adjusting because like we talked about it with the coaches. I mean, what's open shot here? It's not open shot in Europe, you know. So here I just have to like take also those kind of like 50-50 shots that I think they're 50-50, but here they consider it open shots.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
So I guess you weren't here very long, but what was the experience like getting the opportunity with this team and kind of showing what you can do?
It was fun, man. I came in early, got an opportunity. I felt like I showed what I was capable of, showed what I can do, and I felt like I was pretty happy with it.
Do you know what your plan is for the summer as far as, are you going to play summer league? I know you were first team summer league last year.
I don't know about this summer, but I'll talk to coach about it and see what he wants me to do, but he hasn't spoken on anything yet.
What are you going to try to work on individually this offseason?
Probably strength, my shooting. I feel like I could be stronger. I could be a better shooter. I feel like that helped me out in the long run.
Is it just trying to add it onto your current frame, but not gain weight?
Yeah, some kind of like that. Not trying to put on too much weight, slow me down a little bit, but some just keep me stable, throughout the season. Keep me from getting hurt and stuff like that. And I think it'll go good for me. It's a big summer for me.
I know we've talked about it before about how you knew you kind of had this level of production if you got the chance. But
yeah.
What have these 8 games been like? I mean, what has this experience in general just been like?
Getting
in here and playing.
It's been
so much.
It's been a blessing, man. I think I set 3 career highs. The time I've been here, I was in double figures 6 out of the 8 times. I never got the opportunity to do that in the league before. So, I'm coming out and I'm showing what I could do. I'm playing with heart. I'm playing with energy, and I made the best of my opportunity.
This team had a very unique kind of set of bigs. Each of you had different skill sets. What was that like to work against Julius and Ja and Check in practice, and what did you take away from that?
It was fun. I had to figure the guys out on the floor, especially, Julius, where he likes to be on the floor. He likes to be, downhill, and I have to kind of like spread out so I won't clog up the paint for him. And, Jalil's been great. He had a great game last night, and, he just does so many different things on the floor. And I really wish I could see AD, but you know how that goes, so it's good. All good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate it.
So I guess, how would you kind of describe this season, kind of the ups and downs, and just getting the opportunity to get out there and play?
I'd say this season's been great. It's been a learning experience, I would say, just from the business side of things and then the on the court and stuff. So it's been great. I got to learn a lot.
To be a guy who came in kind of like, the last guy out maybe to make the roster and go from no minutes to cult figure over the course of a season, what was that like as a rookie?
Man, it was crazy. It was like a huge transition for sure. But I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and I'm just thankful that I did get to show what I can do.
Do you expect to play in Summer League this year?
Yeah, I do.
What do you think are some of the things that you're going to work on throughout the offseason and/or in Summer League this year to improve?
Definitely becoming a more consistent shooter and just working on my all-around game, everything.
How much of the last couple of months was you trying to figure out when to take your shot, kind of figuring out when to pass, when to shoot, all that stuff?
Yeah, just want to find a rhythm in the game and find your spots. So I know I'm playing with more talented guys. So get off the ball and find a spot on the court that I feel comfortable and I'm able to make plays at. So it's more just finding your spots on the court.
What do you think the biggest adjustment you had to make as far as learning the NBA game and what you got to do?
I'll just say just becoming more dedicated to it. This is your job now, so you gotta do stuff on your own sometimes, and you gotta watch film and just continue to grow and learn as a player. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Henry, did you even surprise yourself maybe this year? Because you were undrafted. You had a tough time of just trying to make the team. You were against at least 2 or 3 other guys out of training camp. But staying here now in front of us, are you feeling even a little bit surprised, or you want to give yourself a pat on the back for what you did this year?
Yeah, definitely. I would, but I was more just always just ready. I stayed ready. So if you stay ready, you can't be surprised. So I just stayed ready. Stay ready for my moment.
Those guys like you coming in and making that adjustment when you didn't have a traditional point guard on the floor for a lot of chunks of the season. How hard is that to kind of make the offense work when you're still learning it and not having experienced people guiding?
Yeah, it's tough not having everybody out there, But also for a point guard running the team, you got to rally the team and get everybody on the track. So, I say it was tough, but we was able to push through it.
How much of the success that you had this year, or the confidence that you had, you think was based on the confidence that the coaching staff had in you and the front office? It seemed like throughout the season, after you started playing, they made a lot of comments about you just being like a winning player that makes winning plays. How much of a factor do you think that was to help you?
Oh, it was definitely huge. You get that confidence from the other players and the coaches. It just gives you that much more confidence, and you're able to go out there and just play comfortably and play hard. So.
Thanks, Henry.
Appreciate it.
Hey, you just gotta flex at the end.
I don't think you want to see that.
You gotta do your stare down with Will.
don't think. Yeah, should we get face to face?
You and Will got to get face to face.
So I guess, I mean, you said this a couple times already, but I guess what's it been like dealing with this entire season as a coach, the ups and the downs and all the madness off the court?
It's been tough. I mean, especially after the way we started the season, had great promise, I thought, and there's been a little bit of everything. Obviously the situation that we all know about, but the injury thing came about, and just it was not the season that we anticipated.
Coach, there were two things that were, like you said, the injuries, all the other variables that were inconsistent. The two things that were consistent, you were able to score, but you weren't able to stop people. Why wasn't where did that commitment to the defensive end just break off this year?
I don't think it broke off. I'm not real sure. We try to some different things, but don't have the answer to that. I wish I did have the answer to that because I thought we were committed. We spent a lot of time in practice on it. I think the thing that hurt us most is the dribble penetration, and I think if you can't control dribble penetration, then it breaks down. It starts to break down your entire defense, and we just didn't do a very good job of being able to get into the ball and guard the ball. So obviously, when that doesn't happen, you put your big guys in harm's way. You're rotating, and in this league now, when you're in rotation, teams are really good, and they're going to find open guys. And I think that was one of the reasons we struggled with the three-point shooting thing, because we found ourselves in rotation way too much.
The players around the league recently voted Drew as the most underrated guy in the league. Obviously, if the AD deal happens this summer, he'll have a lot of responsibility on his shoulders in this franchise. What do you think he can kind of show next year if he can be the face of this franchise?
Oh, I think he's already proven that. I don't think he has anything else to prove, really. I mean, I think as a two-way player, like I said, maybe I'm a little biased, but I think he's as good as any two-way player in the league. At defending his position and then being able to score the basketball for us. And, I'd like to see him get to the foul line more, and I don't think he really has anything to do with that. I mean, I think he takes the ball to the basket, and I think he should be on the line more, really. But I think he's proven he doesn't say a lot verbally, but when he does, I know everybody on the team respects him enough that they listen. But I think what he does is he leads by example. He plays every night, every minute that we put him in there. I know that we're getting the best out of him. And so even the nights where he doesn't play, so what we call a good game, because he doesn't shoot the ball well or something, I don't think he has bad games, because I think what he does for us on the defensive side of the ball always makes him valuable to us on the floor.
4 years, all the things that have happened up and down, regardless of what happens in the future, how do you look at this time that you've been with the Pelicans, both from a competitive standpoint and a relationship standpoint?
Well, from a competitive standpoint, obviously it's been disappointing. I thought last year, the playoff and the way we played in the playoffs were what I anticipated happening here. The very first year I got here, and then obviously injuries decimated that. We've been a team that struggled with keeping guys healthy, and because of that, and it's nobody's fault. I mean, injuries happen. I mean, I think, I'm different than some of the others' opinion. I think we got as good a medical staff as they've been in the league, but there are certain injuries that you can't do anything about as a medical staff. So those things happen. So that hurt, and and then this year was a disappointment. As far as being here, I mean, I live in New Orleans. How can you not? How can you not like living in New Orleans? I think once you're here for a few years, it's a place that you grow to love and respect, and and like I said last night about the fans, I think we got great fans. The ones that comes to the game are very dedicated. I think they're very passionate, and they'll let you know that, and sometimes it's not all positive. I felt that part of it too, but they do love their teams here. They love the Saints, they love us,
and there's a passion here that you don't see in very many other cities. So obviously I appreciate being here, and as far as the leadership, it's been great. Obviously the passing of Mr. Benson was really tough, but I think Mrs. Benson has stepped in and done an incredible job. Starting with the playoff run that we had. She was at every single game, traveled, even all the way back to Portland to see us play, and I think she's going to be a great leader for both of the franchises here, and a great leader for the community in general, and Louisiana for everything that she does. So I think from that standpoint, everything is great and in place. And as I said last night, I think we're going to have a great team next year. We'll find a way to do it.
What do you think about the growth Julius has shown this year in your system?
I think he's shown that he had the one thing for us and played the one way for us with so much force that really helped us. I thought he's capable of being a facilitator and a playmaker too. We can give him the ball and he can push it in our break. And I thought he had a great year. And I think he's just getting better. We fail to realize that the guys that we're talking about are a lot of them. I mean, Julius is 24 years old, so he's got nothing but a huge upside.
Alvin, now that the season's over, do you think the league can do anything moving forward to make sure that a situation like Andy doesn't happen for another team down the line?
I mean, I think that's an interesting question. I think there's something that would be talked about in the league office. I mean, obviously it's very disruptive to a franchise and to a team, and I think it's something that is going to have to be dealt with. So that'll be something that has to happen in the league office.
Coaches evaluate players at the end of seasons and think about things that they can do and improve in all season. How much reflection do you do at the end of each season about what you could have done better or communicated better or any of those types of things?
Oh, I'm probably a lot harder on myself than I am any other players, because I feel like as the leader, I've got to try to put them in every situation to be successful. So, I question myself after every single game, wins or losses, of what I could do better, or the rotation I should have had out there, or the play that I should have run, or who I should have run it for. I think as a coach, that's what you have to do. You have to evaluate yourself before you evaluate your players.
What is your process now? Do you go right into talking with the organization about the GM search, take some time away? Just what is your process for the next?
Oh, I'm going to be around here. I always stay for a while before, trying to take a little bit of time off. But obviously the new GM is going to be really important. It's going to be something that is going to be very integral to how I team move forward and the franchise move forward. So I'll be around here for that, and then I just stay around anyway to kind of shore up everything and see what's going on before I take off for a little while.
You sounded last night like a guy who's somewhat confident that you'll be back. Do you feel that way? Or?
I'm going to be that way. I'm going to be confident until they tell me I'm not coming back. I told you guys that last night. So that's the only way I know how to approach it. That's the way I approach any job that I've ever been in, that I feel like I'm the coach and I'm going to be the coach until they tell me otherwise.
One of the things that people have certainly noted is the way you've handled yourself in the midst of all of this. You haven't really had blow-ups. The ones that you had have been memorable, but
I thought you was going to leave it that I had no blow-ups.
We remember Houston.
But seriously, how do you maintain that level of composure when all these things are swirling around you?
I think the one thing is that you can look at things and you can whine and complain, which doesn't get anything done, or you can try to find solutions. I try to find solutions, and that's why, regardless of what the situation was or who we had healthy or who we put out there, I just felt like, if we competed at the highest level that we possibly could and played unselfishly, we would always give ourselves a chance to win games. And we had some memorable wins, with not so many guys playing really. You think about it, we had over 80 points sitting out the Sacramento game a few games ago, and our guys found a way to, to win the game. So I like guys, and I like guys that compete regardless of what. And I just, you just can't come up with excuses, for everything that happened. Sometimes you just got to look past that, and you just, you do the very best you can, and you have guys play the best they can and as hard as they can. And as a coach, I think if they do that, you can accept anything.
I don't think we all know you for kind of saying what you feel and having strong opinions on things, but was it tough at times to not really just go off or kind of say how you really felt about the entire situation and kind of just, I mean, there's been little bits and pieces you thrown out there, but just to not lay it all out, was that tough?
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough. It's been tough, but that's part of it. I mean, this is not none of this is easy. It's not an easy situation when you got a completely healthy team and playing. So, do I get disappointed sometime? Yeah. Do I get upset sometime? Yeah. But as I said, I try not to use wasted energy. To me, it's just wasted energy. And so you can take that energy and direct it somewhere else. And I think it's going to be much more productive and much more positive doing it that way than to whine about your situation. Like I said, I'm not a whiner. I've never been a whiner. And, there's no reason to start now. I mean, I'm almost 65 years old, so I should have been whining 40 years ago. So I don't see any reason to do it. I just try to be positive. I try to move forward, and I think any player that come out here will tell you that I don't concentrate a lot on what guys can't do. I just concentrate on what they can do and try to put them in those situations.
Were you mindful that how you handled off-the-court stuff could trickle down to how your players handled adversity?
I think so, and the reason I say that is because obviously I was at the Clippers when the whole thing happened, the whole Donald Sterling thing happened, and I saw how Doc handled that, and he did an unbelievable job, and it never really, it never really trickled down to the players. We just concentrated on playing games and, being in the playoffs and how we were going to do in the playoffs, and never really let that seep into any conversation. And I thought the guys, because he handled it that way, I thought the guys did a good job of blocking it out and just trying to do it on their own. Obviously, it upset everybody, but we didn't spend time talking about that. More so, there's just the task at hand, and that's what we did here. We just talked about the task at hand and what we tried to get done as a team.
You, when you've been in the league 3 decades, you have a lot of friends, a lot of contacts. You cross paths with a lot of people. Not that I'm looking for like a deep dive on this, but if you could, just maybe your relationship with Danny, and then obviously I know you and David go back to Phoenix together, and then have you ever met Gerson Morosis? Yeah,
well, I know everybody that, supposedly they brought in for interviews, and they're all good people. I mean, I don't know, from the standpoint I've only worked with Danny and Griff in those situations. But, I just know that we've got people that that's going to do a great job of finding the right person for the job. It's not anything that's been taken lightly, and I know that when you think about the people that's going to be making those decisions, there are people that I have total confidence in.
What was your time like with Griff when you had a chance to work with him?
He's fine. I'm not going to go ahead, what do you want me, we were at Phoenix together, and the team had a lot of success.
Because you know all these people, as upper management, picked your brain at all about any of these candidates?
Somewhat, yeah.
I mean, is that something you feel good about, the fact that they would include you to some degree in this process?
Yeah, I mean, I think they, I would say that, but I would say that, it's going to be a decision that they're going to make. I mean, I'm not going to, if I was picking the GM, then I would pick one of you guys, okay?
Fletch.
So, I would go with Fletch, you're right, I would go with Fletch.
18 and 64.
God, Fletch, they don't have very much confidence in you, man. Generous at 18? Wow, well, maybe I have to reconsider that one then.
That's why you're not looking
Coach, you proclaimed yesterday that you guys are going to have a good season next year. You're going to make the playoffs. What gives you the confidence to say that?
Because I know that, you know, after all of this, we're going to regroup and we're going to be fine. I believe that. I really do. You know, that we're going to put a team out there and, you know, we're going to be healthy, and everything else is going to be fine. You know, and that's why I say, you know, I love the people here and I love the fan base, because when we put that team on the floor, they'll come and they'll show up and they'll cheer their butts off.
Is part of that regrouping, I guess, expected relief of some of the drama and the stuff that's been around here the last couple of months?
Well, it's not. I mean, we're not going to have that situation again, and I think obviously if that situation is not here, it's for the betterment of the team. You know, it's not anything that anyone would want to go through again. But I thought everybody here handled it as good as they possibly could handle it. You know, I thought the players did, and everybody else did also from that standpoint. So, but it's not something that's going to be here next year. So I think because of that, you know, it gives you an opportunity to be good. Yeah.
You walk away from the season and it's a disappointment, but at the same time, what are those things that you kind of will hang your hat on and say, man, I'm really glad this player got to this level, or I'm glad I was really happy when we had this winning streak or whatever? Are there things that memories that you look back at the season that you're particularly proud of?
I think the 3-game road trip we had, you know, when we were really kind of struggling, you know, where we won at Phoenix, won at Denver, and won at Utah was really good. And I think in general, I think we were not a team that you know, was blown out very, you know, I mean, Orlando seemed to be the only team we can't play against at all.
Drew mentioned that too.
I mean, I don't know why, but we struggle against Orlando. But other than the Orlando games, if you go back and look, we were very competitive in all the games we have, and you know, being healthy would give you a chance to look back and say, if we were healthy, maybe we would have been, you know, right where a bunch of the playoff teams are right now.
Can anybody beat Golden State in the playoffs?
Well, until they do it, I don't think anybody's going to bet against them. You know, I mean, they, you know, 3 out of 4 championships, and obviously the one they lost is one that they probably should have easily won. So there's other factors other than that basketball part of it. Obviously, Draymond getting suspended, but you know, they're a very good team. They're a very confident team, and they've got great players. They got everything you need, you know, inside play, shooters, and until you beat the champs, you know, they're the champs.
Thank you.
God.